Hey everybody, how we doing? Well, a little cloudy, had some rain today, a little windy, but I wanted to do, it's not gonna be a long video, but I want to do some updates and get your stuff with stuff. Hey guys, yes, there's our little bottle babies. We get to show, here's everybody. Everybody's out and about. And there's our bottle babies. They're here with everybody else now. So we're getting so big. Man, everybody's getting so big. You guys too. Yes. Oh, you want to be. I love this little thing. Yeah, I love you. I like you. I want to see what color you end up. I think she's going to end up a light tan. That gray will go away in time. And our last set of twins, there's our white ones that were so little before. Man, they are so big now. The little girls. And they got a little, each one has got a little spot of brown. So that third one goes to somebody else. She just had two. But everybody is doing pretty good, except I got one. And that's why we're here. We're going to talk parasites. All right, painted desert sheep. Disease resistant, parasite resistant. I'll agree with that. They are, but let's remember the word is resistant. That doesn't mean you never get anything. And mainly I want to do this or talk about this for the people that have never had sheep or just starting to get sheep. Maybe this is your first go around with it. And like me, when I was starting, we're learning a lot of different stuff, and everything is different. Sheep are a lot different than everybody else, than cattle or hogs or horses. They are way different, I'll give you that. But I want to talk a little bit about with the worming, because you know, you can do everything right. You think you're doing everything right, and you still end up with it. So if you're just starting out with sheep and you've got your first ones and you're just starting out, and then all of a sudden you got this parasite problem with worms or whatever, and you go, what did I do wrong? What did I do that caused this? You might not have done anything. Don't worry about that, because we all go through it, and it's part of the thing. In my case, I have not brought a new sheep on the place for 2 years. All right, everything is tested, CL, OPPV negative. Everything's tested with that. No new ones coming in. Flock's closed, and yet I got a ewe that's got barber pole worms, and that's probably the worst ones you can get. Where did she get them? I have no idea. She's been around here for what, 3 years now, and then all of a sudden one day she's got it. Now let me hang on just a second, and I want to move something, and then I'll explain everything that I've been doing. All right, how to move things around a little bit. Basically, the way it started, 2 videos ago, maybe 3, I don't know, I told you I had one ewe and Kay-Ann, she's a little thin, and when it was cold in here, it was pretty cold, and I said I saw her lambs were a little bit humped up, so I brought them inside because they don't eat. If they get humped up, they're cold, they don't eat. So I brought them inside, warmed them up for a couple of days, they were fine, everything was good after that, kicked them out. But I said at that point in time that I gave Kay-Ann some wormer because she's a little thin. I didn't say she had worms, but I thought she looked a little thin, so I thought, what the heck, she's in anyway. So I gave her a shot of Prohibit, or some drench, not a shot. All right, so we're going along, and it was a late Friday afternoon, and I look, and here she comes in. We got the lump under the jaw. If you're not familiar with it, a lot of times you do barber poles, you'll see a lump underneath their jaw. Well, it's Friday afternoon. Now, I've spoken about getting fecal samples because I had a ewe over a year or so ago now. Did a fecal sample, and I thought it was worms. It wasn't. Coxie. She had no worms. It was Coxie. So, but it's Friday afternoon, and my vet clinic's an hour or so away. I figured by the time I couldn't get in there. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. By the time I get results, it might be Tuesday. I thought, I cannot wait that long. So my daughter happens to keep some Coxie medication on hand because she vaccinates her kids. So in this situation, we brought her in, and I gave her Prohibit and Sidectin, both. gave her some of each, and treated her for cocci medication at the same time. Cocci medication, you do it, and then you do it again 10 days later. All right? So we hit her with everything. That was fine. Put them back out. And I tell you, for the next week or so, something like that, we're a little over that. I mean, one day there's a lump on her jaw. The next day it's gone. And next day she's got it back. And then it's gone for the next 2 days. And then it comes back. I don't know if that's normal or not, but that's what I was seeing. And I will say at this point in time, no diarrhea of any sorts. She's nice and solid, which is good, which kind of surprised me a little. I was expecting to see more of the dirty butt and the diarrhea. I did not with her. She was solid. Nursing the lambs yet, but she's thin. But that thing in the jaw keeps coming. All right, so what did I do? I was talking to somebody down in Texas, and let's face it, down in Texas, they deal a lot with this. So here's the next thing we did. Dosed her with Prohibit and Sidectin again, and I did it for 3 days in a row. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm telling you what I spoke with somebody else, what they suggested, and I followed that advice. I'm not saying you should. I did, all right? 3 days in a row, Sidectin Prohibit. Now, she's still thin. So the next thing I did is I got from my daughter, I got from her some red cell. Normally that's for horses, but there's an amount you can give. You can look it up. There's an amount you can do it for sheep. So here's what I've done after that. I started, and it's been 5 days now. I lock her in with her lambs every night. So that way I can give them more feed. She wants to eat all the time. That's great. What I do in the morning, they get some hay in the morning. I turn them out on pasture all day. When I come in, I give them grain, a little bit of hay, but then I lock her in with her lambs. I give her red cell, vitamin B12, and I throw them some extra grain and some extra hay that her and the lambs can eat on all night long if they want. Next morning, she goes back out. They get a little alfalfa. Everybody goes out in pasture, and we do it again. And we're on, let's see, what is this? We're on day 5. I've been doing this for 5 days in a row. I will do this for 2 more. So I'm going to go 7 days in a row where I'm giving her red cell and vitamin B12, locking them in and letting them go. You know, when you're dealing with barber pole, it's just keep them alive. And that's about what it amounts to. So I was doing this as much to try to keep her alive as I am making sure the lambs are doing really good. And they are. The lambs, you don't notice anything from the lambs. I see her still nursing them. And they are about 5 weeks old, so they're not going to nurse as much as normal. But they're doing well. They've been in the creep feeders. As you can see over here, there's our lambs in the creep feeders. They got grain in there, and I put alfalfa in, so they got the alfalfa, and I saved them the leaves off the round bales, so they get the good stuff. And her lambs have been in there all the time, just like the others. So not only do they get the creep feeder, but they're getting overnight, they're getting extra feed to go with it. So I was doing that as much for them as for her. Because to be honest with you, I get up almost every morning and look out and look at the cameras. Ah, she's still alive. All right, we made it another day. And hopefully that means we're gonna make it. But I just wanted to bring this up. So if you're running into something yourself and you're out and you figure, how did I get worms? What did I do right or what did I do wrong? Sometimes it's not what you do right or wrong. It just happens. In my case here, all ewes got wormed with Prohibit last August. All right. Prior to that, the year before, everybody got Cycodin, and I gave that for 2 years in a row. So this last August, I don't want to worm during breeding season. You don't do that. I mean, a lot of people do, I don't. Especially Valbazen. Do not give Valbazen to bred ewes. But I don't like to do it, period. So I wormed, but I worm on a yearly basis. Is that the right thing to do? Who knows? You'll find people that worm just when they got one that's sick, they worm it. People worm every year, just like this, like I do. There's probably people that worm twice a year. I don't know. There's people that figure, you know what? I want the healthy ones. So if one dies, I just get rid of that. I don't want anything to do with it. I just get rid of the ones that die because they're not disease resistant. They're not parasite resistant. So they don't even care. They just, that one dies and we move on to something else. But I'm in a situation, I'm going to do it on a yearly basis. Did that stop me from getting this one? No, didn't stop a thing. Everything still worked out in the same way. So as I'm saying, you can do all you want. It may not do a whole lot of good. But our lambs are looking pretty good. They are getting big. Look at the horns on this little guy. You're growing a set of horns on you, aren't you? Yes, you are. And our little black and white, there's some horns coming there too. So doing real well, and I am happy with that. Hang on, I got to check on something just a second. All right, there's our other little ones. There's a few of them over here yet too. How we doing, little ones? I love that little brown and white one, but it's sold. Yes, that one's sold. And this little guy right here, my little Lomax duplicate, looks like little Lomax. He's going to be going the same way the little brown and white one's going. So they're going to go to the same direction. But hey, I had the other day, I think I got pictures. Had visitors the other day out in the pasture. Had some cattle egrets. Now up in Nebraska, that's not something we have a lot of. Man, it's been years since I've seen them here. But they kind of spent the whole day. I started them out up by my daughter's goats. They got a little bit there, but then they came down and got in the pasture with the lambs. And oh, did the lambs think that was neat? They could chase them all over. The lambs were chasing birds, and birds, they were just running. The birds would just run ahead of the lambs. So I thought that was kind of neat. They were having a lot of fun. But anyway, there's our little guys doing good. And I think we're in pretty good shape. We get through with this one. We're going to hope the ewe makes it when she comes out of it. But I'll tell you, barber poles are a tough worm to beat. So we're going to see if we beat it or not. But otherwise, we're doing good. I did want to update you on that. Didn't have much else to go on but that. But I did want to tell you about that and show you the little ones and show you everybody's doing pretty good. So we'll see. If I got something going for you next week, I will update you on her as we go along, good or bad, whatever we get. I'll let you know. But otherwise, we'll try to catch you next week, or if I got nothing, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Take care.